What's the challenge? We're doing a September challenge. We're going to also do a 28-day in, just moving the pillow so it's in a better spot. 28 days in October. So if you don't want to make the September challenge, you can definitely do the October one. Keto Maria says she's not full carnivore. She's doing probably like meat heavy keto. That's great. That's what I do for my kids. That is a super nutrient dense diet. You first heard of carnivore from Dr. Jordan and Michaela Peterson. They're the ones who validated it for me. I had heard a lot of like bros talk about carnivore, and I'm just like, whatever. But the Jordan Peterson and Michaela did it, and then listening to them talk about it, I definitely thought it was worth a try. So today we are talking about who got the email for that we were going live tonight. Because I did put a whole list of what we're going to do. And so what I'm going to do, there's a lot to cover, and I've written it out, is I'm going to go like point by point how the carnivore diet works, because it's just like so amazing how it all works together to be a really healing diet. And then after each point, if you want to ask questions, I'm happy to try to help you out or to point you in the direction of someone that knows more than me. So first of all, if you feel or if you hear that I'm stuffy, it's because I'm using TRS, which is a detoxification supplement, and that was in the email I sent you. It did nothing for me. It did something for my daughter, so I've been using it for her, but it did nothing for me before carnivore. And so that's kind of interesting how like the healing stuff all comes into play, where a detoxification supplement didn't do anything, or I didn't feel any difference. And then I just tried it again since being on carnivore, like strictly now for 15 days. And I have like a runny nose, which most people wouldn't get excited about a runny nose, but for me, that's definitely a detoxification reaction. So I am excited about it. But anyways, if you're wondering why I'm like sniffly, that's why. So the first, and that's the TRS. And I'm hoping Jeannie will jump in and answer questions if you have any questions about it. So nutrient density is the first reason that the carnivore diet works. When it comes to the density of nutrients we need to grow young children, repair or replace our own cells, or keep our body systems running, nothing can beat animal foods. Our stomachs are a pH of 1.5 to 3.5, which is very acidic, and it's very good at getting nutrients out of meat. Most of our meat is digested right in our stomach. Consuming nose to tail organ meat, which I know not a lot of you guys like, helps boost nutrient density like by a bazillion. But even just eating muscle meat, it's easy to eat. Our stomachs absorb it, even if you have digestive issues. Otherwise, meat is great for you. Having a diet made up of easily absorbed bioavailable nutrients absolutely floods your body with building blocks needed to do its own cell repair on everything from your brain to joints to muscles and blood cells. So now I'm going to check for comments. That's the first point. And these are in the back of the carnivore meal plan, which I will link to after this video. So I just did a little thing in the back of how the carnivore diet works, because first it's kind of like we want to see it does work, and then it's really interesting to see the whys in the house. Chicken liver, yes. Trying to wean off of cheese. I know it's better to include cheese than to not do carnivore at all. The Boulder Carnivore Conference is amazing. Like I've learned so much from that, and I'm so thankful that she put that online. Mike asked how to make fat digest better. Is I would take ox bile supplements. It's usually a lack of bile, and just take ox bile supplements until your body catches up. Let's see what other questions there are. Okay, and so the next point is anti-nutrients and nutrient absorption. Plant foods contain anti-nutrients as well as nutrients. Animal foods have already had those anti-nutrients filtered out when the animal ate the plant. So like this is where ruminants come in really handy, is that it goes through all of their digestive system, which is super long, lots of stomachs, lots of places for them to filter all of these anti-nutrients out, and that turns it into meat that is super easy for us to absorb. I'm going to try moving the curtains and make it a little brighter. Not very effectively. For those of you guys that just found me, I'm in my neighbor's house because my internet wasn't working. With perfect With perfect digestion, balanced microbiome, and a limited environmental toxins, it's likely that we as omnivores are able to deal with anti-nutrients in plants and thrive on the good stuff that they provide. With an increased toxic load, like those of us that were raised with disposable diapers and formulas and plastics and all of that, we just have had this huge toxic load. Generations of poor nutrition. So a lot of our parents grew up eating like hot dogs and processed cheese and skim milk. Gut flora that is unbalanced because of the overuse of antibiotics when a lot of us were children and our parents were children, or while our parents were at childbearing age. Gut flora that's unbalanced, and some of us have more trouble with anti-nutrients than others, particularly phytic acid that's found primarily in grains and legumes is known to interfere with absorption of zinc, magnesium, calcium, and iron. Anti-nutrients are not limited to phytic acid. Oxalates, lectins, phenols, and more are all found in plant foods but are not in animal foods. This isn't to say that everybody should always avoid all plants. It's just to be aware that there is a balance and it's going to look different for everybody. There's also evidence to suggest that these compounds in a healthy person with a healthy digestive system can provide resistance that encourages the body to heal and strengthen. Think of carnivore more as a resting and repairing protocol, and eating plants as pushing the body or strength training. You wouldn't go to the gym and start an exercise program if you had 2 broken limbs and pneumonia. You'd rest while your body repairs itself. Then it may be time to be in the gym and use plants as a way to push your body and stimulate different parts of it. And so this is, I didn't bring the GAPS book over here, but this is a big part of the gut and psychology syndrome protocol. Is people ask me a lot because I use GAPS for my daughter and I'm a firm believer in it. But it uses both plants, like juicing is in the GAPS protocol, but also is very, very meat heavy, and it's very, very easy to digest meat. And so you can use plants as a way to stimulate your body to continue to heal and to detoxify. But if you're just in healing mode and you can't handle the plants, that's where carnivore comes into play. Oxalates are high in many plant foods and are correlated with decreased calcium absorption, kidney stones, and joint pain. Lectins are found in approximately 30% of plant foods that the standard American eats, including beans, grains, squash, and nightshades. Lectins are correlated with deterioration of the gut wall, which makes leaky gut, autoimmune responses, and more. Phenols and silicates, I never know how to say that word, silicates are found in brightly colored fruits and vegetables. So eat the rainbow, that's definitely not ideal for a lot of us. Phenols and silicates are found in brightly colored fruits and vegetables and can trigger autism, ADHD symptoms, and other symptoms of not digesting things, and like skin rashes in other people. So I'm going to scroll through. That's our end of the anti-nutrient. What's the best organ meat that I recommend? Liver. Definitely liver. And if you get chicken liver, it's good. All right, let me scroll all the way up to where we were. Fermented plants, that's part of the GAPS protocol. And if you can handle fermented plants, that can be a problem for people with SIBO, or if you're having a histamine response, like if you tend towards a runny nose, like I'm having from that TRS, or you tend towards getting hives, which I also get. Fermented foods that generally are good for your digestive system are not going to be good for you until you've healed more and you stop getting that SIBO, and you stop, which is small intestinal bowel overgrowth, and you stop getting that histamine response. Because if you're having an allergic response to something, or like just a mild response to something, then your body is in crisis mode and you're not going to absorb stuff as well as you could if you were just like in calm rest and repair mode. Raw or not raw, I think that's individual. Oh, Keto Maria says she uses 150 milligrams of ox bile. That's good. A lot of people have trouble with the fats at first. So I'm glad that you've found that helpful. Priscilla, she says she's been carnivore since May. Digestive system was great, but she's getting bored. She wants to do keto carnivore. Suggestions. Yeah, let me go grab that post. I tried to, I tried to list all of the stuff that's high in like the most anti-nutrients in one of my recent posts. And it happens to be a like behavioral problem post, but I'm going to get that link for you. There we go. There. Liver supplement from grass-fed beef, that's great. If you take the supplements, the capsules, Greener Pasture, or not Greener Pastures, Perfect Supplements has ones that I like, and I can see a difference, but like if you put it in your hand, it's a very small amount of liver. And most of us on carnivores, once you get to start craving liver, you're going to crave like a pound over a couple weeks or even more. So like that little pinch of liver is enough to kind of train your body like, hey, this is actually what I want, but you definitely want to be eating whole liver when you can. Hillary, I know my internet was down, so I had to come to a neighbor's. And when I did that, I restarted my computer and I lost it. Sorry. This is me trying to do technology not very well, which is why I try to post the replays of these. So next we're going to talk about allergies, autoimmune, and inflammation. All three of these are tied to the body's overactive immune system: allergies, autoimmune, and inflammation. When we eat only animal products, avoiding any known allergies like dairy or eggs, the body gets a chance to calm down. When we have leaky gut, which we'll cover in another section, it's likely that our body is reacting or having an immune response to every food that we consume. And that's why I'm kind of a big proponent of avoiding the allergy testing, like the skin prick testing. They usually do it on your back in a grid. Because if your gut's leaky, everything is going through your gut undigested, and you're going to show an allergic response to pretty much anything you've eaten in the past whatever days, depending on your body's sensitivity. So the skin prick tests are not that. And if you look in the medical literature, they always say that you need to take the skin prick test and then also do an allergy elimination diet and combine the two. Like they say they're not even that effective. They still do them and probably charge a bunch for them, but they're not effective. And that's because of leaky gut. Go back to where's our leaky gut. Because animal products are digested high up in the digestive system, the amount of nutrients that cross the lower gut and enter the bloodstream in undigested particles triggers an allergic, autoimmune, or inflammatory responses. These can include hives, rashes, joint pain, fatigue, swelling, diarrhea, and more. Dealy Bears, you had half a pound of chicken liver for breakfast. I love that. That's like what I do is now when I crave chicken liver, I'm eating like half a pound at a time. It's delicious. Autoimmune, yeah. That's good, Maria. It's good that you're healing this with food because the medications they put autoimmune on is those are intense. And a lot of people do need to use medications for quality of life in addition to the food, but trying to control with only medications is just a recipe for disaster. Is beef only the best with histamine issues? I think it's mostly fresh. Like try not to get old meat. For me, all I have to do is avoid like fermented or really old meat, like really aged meat, and histamine's fine. Andrew's Butcher makes mince with organ meats and extra fat. That's great. I bet my butcher would. My butcher, like the people that work there are they think we're a little weird, but the butcher thinks that like my stuff and the stuff I'm doing with my kids is great. He's like always thrilled to sell me all sorts of stuff. Hillary, you are definitely on your way to fixing leaky gut. Are you drinking bone broth? That's like, or meat stock. So if bone broth is too much, meat stock, which is where you like brown the meat and then you boil the meat. So it has like chicken especially is good. So it has the skin, it has the ligaments, and it has the meat. And so you boil all that or you put it in the Instant Pot. And that meat broth, it has like all those amino acids. It's super easy to absorb. And that's really good for leaky gut. Food sensitivity testing, same thing as like the IgG, the skin prick test. It's just if you have leaky gut, you're going to test sensitive to all sorts of stuff. And then I did that with my daughter, and they said that like she was fine to eat stuff I knew full well that she was allergic to, but she hadn't eaten it in a while because I knew she was allergic to it. And so it's just generally unreliable. It's something like 50% accurate, which is not very helpful. Is it okay to eat some plants or fruits every once in a while to keep your immune and detox system working out and exercised? Sure, you can do whatever you want. In general, carnivore avoids plants, but if you want to like take a smoothie, I don't know. I tried, so we make egg roll in a bowl, and I used to love it when we were on keto. It has like a whole head of cabbage and 2 pounds of pork in it. And I made that and I ate like a big bowl of it a little bit onto carnivore, probably 3 or 4 weeks in. And like, oh, that did not feel good at all. So if you want to try vegetables and they feel good to you, then by all means go ahead and do that every once in a while and see how you feel. For me, they did not feel good. Good, Hillary. I'm glad you're making your own bone broth. I am glad. Yes. Spend your money that you're going to pay the doctor on those tests for meat. Go from Butcher Box. It's delicious. Hi, Priscilla. I'm glad you're here. I love the public chat too. It gives me ideas on what to talk about for you guys instead of feeling like I'm just talking to the screen all the time. All right, now we're going to talk about fiber and digestion. One of the biggest myths of our time is that fiber is good for our digestion. The fiber pushing is like ridiculous. Fiber is actually bad for our digestion. Science shows over and over that when a no fiber diet is consumed, digestion is improved. Studies of people with IBS, constipation, diarrhea, and other digestive issues show either complete elimination or huge improvement when fiber is greatly reduced or eliminated. And you've got to realize that on these studies, they're probably also eating grains like white flour. And so think of what we're doing, like helping our digestion with the carnivore diet. I didn't think I had a digestion problem until I went back to eating plants for a little bit. And definitely, like everything just feels so much lighter and everything works so much better when we're using just meat and just animal products. When we don't eat the stuff that we don't digest, like fiber and other chemicals in plants, our body has to work so much less to digest our food. That gives our body a break to repair our gut and spend energy along with a boost in nutrition, healing other parts of our body. So that's the fiber part. Yeah, Jeff says his digestive system's 100,000 times better without fiber. Mine too. And I can't believe like what the concoctions people do to try and get fiber to work for them. It's like this kind of fiber and that kind of fiber and this one in the morning and that one, or we can just eliminate it. Is grass-fed good or is grain-fed so bad? What do I eat? So I can talk about that real quick right now. I went to Costco, probably 10 days ago. And I just like loaded up my cart. I posted a picture of it on YouTube on like just regular generic beef. There was a little bit of grass-fed ground beef. And I'm not digesting that very well at all. Like I have to eat like twice as much. So I may as well get the grass-fed that, and I'm not gaining weight on it, but also like there's evidence that I'm not digesting it well. And so getting the grass-fed is probably, if you have digestion issues, at least do a trial, like do a 7 days of grass-fed and then 7 days of grain-fed and see how the difference is. For me, it was really apparent that I'm not digesting about half of it. So why even bother eating it? Because grass-fed beef, I don't think is even twice as much. So I'm like net saving how much I'm spending on food anyway by getting grass-fed. And I'll put, Jeff has Aldi. Yeah, I always cruise. So we have Smith's here, and that's like part of Kroger, Fry's, and Food for Less, I think. And so I always cruise through there because they'll have grass-fed stuff marked down all the time. So I just kind of cruise through all the meat departments and pick up the grass-fed, and that's what I had been doing. I just thought, like, for simplicity, because now we don't live near a bunch of major grocery stores, I just go to Costco and stock up, and it didn't turn out being any money savings at all, or good for my body probably. So I definitely like Butcher Box, and I'm just going to put their link in here for you guys. And do the choose your own box because you get like 20% more. Plus you get 2 pounds of ground beef if you sign up right now. I'm going to scroll up. What do I think about sourdough? I think try going off of it and then back on it and see how you feel. I think it's better than just having like whole wheat. Definitely. In bread, you also want to watch for folic acid because folic acid is not good for you and they're still putting it in flour and bread. And so if you can find like a natural sourdough that's naturally yeasted, it will reduce the phytic acid. It's still going to bother a lot of people. but it's definitely better than like whole wheat bread. Thoughts on fasting? I think fasting is good. It's not going to be good for everybody at all times. I fast kind of off and on. I haven't gone above 100 hours. I'd like to. Like, ideally, I think we should be able to do like a 5-day fast, water fast a year. And I think that that's really good for autophagy. But I feel like carnivore, like, I feel almost exactly the same on carnivore as I do when I'm fasting, just really clean and light and energetic. Hillary, you guys have amazing food over there. Yeah, yeah, everywhere but the US has much better food. We even make food that's better and ship it to you guys and then sell the junk on our grocery store shelves. Silage is like when they cut hay and then they sort of ferment it. Like, they store it, but it sort of ferments as it's being stored. Yeah, I'd love PETA to join the oh, never mind. We're gonna remove you. Sorry. I don't know where people find this. Yeah, I think it's fine to stop fasting. Like, it's easier for me to stick with carnivore, um, if I don't fast. I will fast if it works that day, but it's not something I'm making a goal anymore. All right, microbiome is our next. Microbiome. Microbiome is big news now, finally, and for good reason. The colony of microorganisms in our gut works together with our own body to digest our food, line our gut wall to protect it, secrete enzymes, and even control our cravings. The microbiome is a big reason why it's hard to stop craving sugar, even if we only have a little bit. If we eat sugar, we're feeding the bugs that also eat sugar. And when we feed the bugs that eat sugar, they can actually poop out chemicals that make their way into our bloodstream up to our brain. Microorganisms are also survival of the fittest. So the ones that have this nifty adaptation to make us crave the foods that they need are the ones that survived. If you've ever felt like your brain was taken over and sugar cravings were beyond your control, you can blame your microbiome. Thankfully, when we stop eating sugar, wheat, or anything else that's unhealthy for us, those little bugs will die off. This usually takes 72 hours. So don't be surprised at around the 30-day mark, you get massive sugar cravings. And then after that, they seem to disappear. This is not just about sugar and carb cravings. Your microbiome can also send out other signals to your brain, causing fatigue, fuzzy thinking, or even psych issues like obsessive compulsive disorder, depression, and anxious thinking. There's a big, and this is the big thing with autism, is that it's kind of like an opiate that their microbiome is sending into their bloodstream that's making them like they're being on drugs. And so that's kind of where if you can balance the flora and you can get that to go, a lot of times autism will be either greatly reduced or completely go away. The bad bacteria, also called pathogenic bacteria, thrive on carbohydrates and reside low in the digestive tract. By going animal products only or zero carb, the good bacteria take over and the bad are kept in check or completely eliminated. Your microbiome is always changing due to the level of the different foods you eat. When we avoid carbs, we speed up this change, and quickly starve out the bad. A quick note, microbiome is not all bad. We need a microbiome and good bacteria in your gut to digest your food. The microbiome fluctuations are a large part of your immune system and helps produce serotonin, dopamine, gives you cravings for food that's good for you. And they've done studies, now that enough carnivore has been popular enough, and people have been doing a bunch of studies on themselves. I'm lucky for all the nerdy carnivores. I get to learn from them. And your microbiome is still super diverse when you're eating just meat. And so that's good to know. That was something that I was concerned about when I started, because I'm not eating those fermented plants that I used to eat. You can definitely eat like kefir, like dairy kefir is really good for you. And so if you're concerned about your microbiome on carnivore, that's a great thing to include. Um, and that's something that, like, you guys know, I experiment on my children and I see that kefir promotes a die-off reaction, which means that it's balancing the gut flora. It's killing off the bad stuff so that it can make room for the good. And so while the reaction isn't really great, that's something that's definitely makes a difference. Because some people say that the microorganisms can't survive your stomach acid. Some of them must, or else they wouldn't be killing off the bad stuff. You wouldn't get a die-off reaction. Yeah, tons of horrible yeah, you definitely in other parts of the world, misinformation is still there, huh? Alright, I'm gonna scroll up and see what questions I have after the microbiome. Oh, Kara says she's been on GAPS diet for a year and recently made her own micro or sourdough and eat it occasionally. Yeah, I mean, if you healed your gut well enough to eat it, I think that's totally great. Like Dr. Natasha says, have a little bit of bread with your butter. So layer on that thick grass-fed butter. Hillary says microbiome is what you want to learn about. Um, I'll try to follow up because I've written so much about it. That's like my obsession, is I talk about microbiome all the time. I'll try to follow up the emails. I think you're getting my emails, right, Hillary? Started craving peanuts. Those peanut eating microbiomes were hard to die off. Took 3 weeks. Kefir, we covered. Oh yeah, kefir. If you haven't made kefir, like, don't buy it from the store. That usually has a bunch of sugar in it. Get the grains from Cultures for Health, um, and make it yourself. Make it with cream, so make it with half and half, and it won't taste as strong. It's so good, and it's so easy to make. It's not like fussy like yogurt. You just like put the stuff in a jar, fill it with milk or cream, and put the jar on the counter for 24 hours. Shannon says she's trying GAPS to see if it makes dairy manageable for your breastfed baby. I ran my two boys through GAPS intro while I was breastfeeding them, and it cured a dairy allergy for my first and an egg allergy for my second. And that was, I just did intro and I gave them intro foods if they were eating foods, and that totally worked. How do you know when your gut is healed? Is you can eat more food. Like, you can't eat junk food because that will just like damage your gut again. But if you can eat more food than like your really strict carnivore, like really healthy, additive free food, then if you can eat a little bit of stuff off of that, then you know your gut is healed. And also, if you're like less sensitive to pollen or you're less sensitive to like scents and stuff, that means that your gut's healed because that's where your detoxification system is. What do you do if you mess up? You ate pizza today and don't feel good. If you have activated charcoal, take that. And most drugstores have that, and that'll absorb some of the gross stuff. I'm gonna go move it's getting dark. So I'm gonna go move the curtain just a second. Oh, maybe. There. Hopefully that's better. How long will it take to heal your gut? It depends on how much damage there has been. So kids usually respond really well to the GAPS diet or like carnivore diet. Adults, like if I just started healing my gut after eating standard American diet for 36 years, it'd probably take a few years. David, what's your question? Do I like cheese? Yes. All right. So we are going to move on to sleep, exercise, and lean body mass. Good sleep is one of the biggest indicators of good health. If you're not sleeping well, that's also a sign that you have bad gut flora or like leaky gut. Is that you should, like, healthy people should crave movement, they should crave good food, and they should sleep well. That's like the base, and have a good mood. And so those are like the basic parts of being a human. And it seems like so many of us have at least one of those things that are out of whack. And that's just a sign that there's more healing to do. Like, we're made from like a little tiny speck. We're made from an egg. Into a whole person. Like, definitely your body has everything in itself to, to heal itself and to make a full person. And so you can definitely just provide it with the nutrients it needs, and you're going to start sleeping well. Let's see. I lost the sleep one. So anecdotally, the carnivore diet is correlated with excellent quality sleep. With good sleep comes good energy during the day. And also anecdotally, The carnivore diet seems to go hand in hand with wanting to exercise. We adapt and we adapt on the carnivore diet almost a primitive mindset, and let me know if this is applied to you. Um, a primitive mindset of enjoying fresh air and active play, whether it's joining a co-ed sports team, running with a dog, or playing with our kids. Flooded with the nutrients we needed to repair and build muscles, it's common to have a much higher desire to exercise when on the carnivore diet. This weight-bearing exercise increases lean body mass, muscles, and bones, and improves metabolism. When metabolism is running high, it's not only easier to maintain a healthy weight, but you also just feel better. Okay, and so yeah, let's talk about sleep for a little bit. Mike says he just ate a huge ribeye steak, over 20 ounces, and he's still hungry. Is it grass-fed or grain-fed? Because I was eating so much grain-fed, grain-finished meat just from my little experiment earlier this month. If you're still hungry and you feel like you're not, you shouldn't be hungry, like try your salt, check your salt, and either like lower or raise salt and see if that makes a difference. Or try like digestive enzymes, and I can look up that. So I'll link to my digestive and supplements. So see if any of those digestive supplements work well. So I just suspect that people don't need like 4 pounds of meat a day. I can't imagine like more than 1 or 2 is really needed, and it's probably a sign, unless you're super, super active, that you're deficient in something, so you're not digesting it as well as you could be and pulling the nutrients out. A sign of gut issues is a sensitivity to scents. Yeah, like our kids now, like every kid is allergic to like everything. Where it used to be like they used to spray all sorts of toxic stuff and it never bothered anyone. It's just because our gut microbiome is broken down, partly because of all the toxic stuff they were spraying. But that is a sign that your microbiome is messed up. Sleep issues in a kid with autism only sleeps 4 to 5 hours a night. Have you tried the GAPS intro for that kid? Because that was my daughter until we did GAPS when she was 3. It's like 4 hours. It was really hard. And so GAPS intro did that, allergy or food eliminations. Just kind of get whatever you can because they've got to sleep. I do melatonin for that kid. Kind of the benefits outweigh benefits outweigh the risks for her. Sleep is improved, but not great yet. You'll get there. Let me get rid of some spam. How much activated? Oh, I just take a capsule. I don't know what's in a capsule. I think a teaspoon is fine. Like I'd probably take a 1/4 teaspoon. You started eating early and sleep better. Yeah, that's definitely something you can play with, is like if your body doesn't like to sleep when you've just eaten. How do you give up caffeine? DLPA is an amino acid. Let me see if I can find that. I have an article on it. It's an amino acid that kind of like kills addiction. Who's tried that? Because I know after the last one, a lot of you guys were wanting to try DLPA for caffeine. Ratio of carnivore fat to protein. That depends. Most of us do best with like 80% of our calories from fat. Some people do more lean meat than that. So it's individual. Just try different things and see. Do you want to be my moderator? I'm making you moderator. That sounds like you volunteered to me. Thank you. How much of my cupboards are full of food or seasonings? My fridge is definitely a lot more empty now, and I like it that way. Like this is super minimal and I love it. But I still have all the seasonings because I still cook for my family. I still bake for my family too sometimes, like muffins, stuff. All right, insulin and blood glucose. So this affects a lot of you guys. Like insulin resistance is something that I didn't think I had, but now looking back, like I used to pass out from not eating all the time. I had insulin resistance and I was skinny. I was like 5'8" and 95 pounds, but I was passing out all the time. And if I didn't eat first thing in the morning, I would pass out in the shower. So I couldn't even like shower before I had my bowl of cereal. I had like major insulin resistance. So insulin resistance is a huge problem that affects the population. Most people take action in regards to insulin resistance when it causes weight gain. This often goes hand in hand with type 2 diabetes, though not always. Insulin resistance isn't a problem in only people who have type 2 diabetes and are overweight. Insulin resistance is also linked to heart disease, cancer, infertility, blood sugar fluctuations like getting lightheaded and shaky between meals. High blood glucose is a byproduct of insulin resistance. Type 1 diabetics have this as a result of not making any or enough insulin and require insulin, though much less is required when eating low carb. Type 2 diabetics can lower their insulin resistance and blood glucose by following a carnivore or really any low carb diet. If you have uncontrolled blood glucose, type 1 or 2, it's encouraged that you work with an endocrinologist as you transition onto keto or carnivore. There's a risk of ketoacidosis in those with uncontrolled blood sugar in the presence of ketones. But once the transition to low carb has been made and blood glucose is under control, ketoacidosis is no longer a risk. The carnivore diet stabilizes blood glucose because it's a very low carb diet relying on ketones for energy rather than carbohydrates. This gives the body a break from needing to produce and respond to so much insulin, and the body gets energy directly from fat. Thank you, Beach Bunny. Let me see. Where we go? I think it's, if you want to keep coffee, that's fine. If you're happy with your progress, go ahead and keep coffee, and that doesn't bother me. If you're not happy with your progress, coffee is definitely something you could look into for switching to decaf and then quitting and seeing how you feel. Don't drink your calories. That depends on what you're doing this for. So if you're doing this for weight loss, you don't want to drink your calories. Um, I make chicken stock and I put butter in it. So I definitely drink my calories. Doesn't look like there's any questions on insulin resistance. Here's one. I get 2 periods a month on carnivore. Is that normal? Okay, so when you are losing weight, I'm assuming you're losing weight. Or like your body might even, if you're not losing weight, your body might be recompositioning where you're turning, like you're gaining muscle and losing fat. In our fat, a bunch of hormones are stored. There's my fat. And so like if you've had this like certain amount of body fat for a long time, a lot of your hormones will be in there. So if you're rapidly shedding that, and this happens on keto as well, then you're going to release all those hormones in there, and you'll get pimples, your body will just go wonky, like your periods will be wonky, they'll be long, they'll be short, you'll get cramps or whatever. And that's just because you're releasing all those hormones that are stored in fat. How long do you do this before checking progress? I'm on day 16. I saw a difference. Like, I'm not sure what you mean by checking progress, like trying a food off of carnivore. I think that's fine. If you want to, like, I would like you guys to do 28 days. That's why we're doing the 28-day challenge. I think that's a good amount of time to give your body time to adjust and see how you feel when you go off. How long do you have to take DLPA? Like, I'll take it like 3 times the first day and then maybe once for the rest of the week, and then I'm done. 80% fat. You can look in my meal plan, which if you search Kamini or carnivore meal plan, it's on Amazon. I put the fat percentages in here. So if you need to, like, on each day, it's going to be a little bit different on every day, but this is 73-27 and some of them are 80-20. So you can just go through and find the days that have whatever fat percentage you're looking at and kind of eat those kind of foods. What supplements do I take? I take, right now I'm taking TRS, And I'm hoping Jeannie is in here to answer questions about it. I'll talk about this at the end. It's a detoxification supplement that just started working for me now that I'm on carnivore, and I'm excited about it. That's why I have a drippy nose. It's because it's a healing crisis, and it's kind of exciting to me that it's working, because I've still had yeast stuff like my whole life, and then I think I could probably get rid of more than I am. Like carnivore probably slowly but surely would go away, but this is, I think, going to take care of it fast. I'm excited. Thanks. I'm glad you're getting my book. Thank you. Do I eat some raw? I do. Not so much lately because it's cooling down a little bit, but I did when it was hot and I didn't want to deal with making food. So the last section of why the carnivore diet works is ketosis and being, or ketones and being in ketosis. And this is what a lot of us came from keto. So we already know the benefits of being in ketosis, but let's just go ahead and go over them and remind ourselves. Ketosis is where a lot of the magic of carnivore comes from. When our body is running on fat, not carbs, we're providing our brains with ketones instead of glucose. Ketones have been extensively studied and have shown to help everything from neurological conditions, including drug-resistant epilepsy and MS, to addiction recovery, carb binging, anxiety, depression, and more. To stay in ketosis on carnivore, some people have to keep their fat consumption to around 80% calories from fat or more, but most of those who follow the carnivore diet will be in ketosis without tracking anything. When searching medical journals for studies on ketosis, search very low-carb diets, VLCD, modified Atkins diets, or keto. The old version of keto used primarily as seizure control for the past century, also limited proteins and liquids, which affected children's growth and kidneys. Some doctors still recommend against keto for this exact reason. They're looking at studies that restricted protein and liquids on a protocol that was very hard to follow. For more information about going into ketosis, you can check out my keto family class. That's on the carnivore resource page, and I'll link to that because I've got a bunch of good resources there for you. And of course, this was all in my description of the video that I lost. So there's our resource page. Hillary, my book's on Amazon, so I'll show you again, Carnivore Meal Plan. And Amazon does ship internationally, so if you can get books from Amazon, you can get mine. They actually print it for me. It's printed on demand. Yeah, the DLPA, I don't know. I want you guys to try it because it's like a $10 supplement and it's worked for everybody I've given it to in real life. But I don't know why it's not more well known. What inspired me to start making YouTube videos? Yeah, we can just go to Q&A now. That's fine. My third baby didn't sleep unless I was holding him. And a lot of you guys, I don't know if you know that or not, I was a single parent when he was born. And so I still needed to work. And so in order to be able to work and stand, I'm like, fine, I'll just put my video camera up and I will hold him in the ergo. So if you look at a lot of my videos from 2014, I have a sleeping baby in the ergo. And a lot of people are responding really well to him. And I had kind of only seen really horrible YouTube comments. And so I was cautious. A lot of my videos from there didn't even allow comments, but people would email me and tell me how much they learned from them and that they liked them. So I kept making them. Jeff, you have a good grasp of ketones. Thank you for not obsessing about your ketone amount going down. You're just an efficient ketone user now. Yeah, definitely make kefir. It's really good. It smells yeasty. It might be weird at first. If you chill it, it's a little easier to get down because you guys aren't going to be blending it with stuff in a smoothie. It does come on Kindle. Do I do oil pulling? Yeah, sure. You can oil pull on carnivore. I use Beauty Counter Cosmetics. And so it's like I'm sure there's different plant products in it. Actually, I wanted to tell you guys, let me remember. Grab this link. So This peel I use on my skin, if you're looking for a way to bribe yourself to do carnivore skincare, and like there's a men's skincare line, it's a great way to take care of yourself. They eliminate a lot of the toxins that are in makeup and skincare, but their stuff really works. This peel, if you sign up as a member for Beauty Counter in September, it's only $20 to sign up, or $29 to sign up. You get this for free, and it's $63 normally. And so I wasn't going to talk about Beauty Counter, even though I love it, on my carnivore stuff. But this is such a good deal, and this is plant-based. Like, it's got different plant acids in it and stuff, but it's like safe for use during pregnancy. It's a really safe alternative. So I just put the link up there for Beauty Counter. If you sign up as a member, you get this peel. Skincare is a great gift that's clutter-free. It's a great way to treat yourself without doing something that's harmful to your body. So anyways, the oil pulling brought that up to me. I don't oil pull, but I have before, and I don't think it's bad to do on carnivore because you're spitting it out. If anyone doesn't know, it's where you put like a spoonful of coconut oil in your mouth, and then you swish it around a bunch, and it makes your teeth feel super clean. And then you spit it out, and when you spit it, you want to flush it with a bunch of hot water, so it doesn't clog your pipes. And then you brush your teeth, and like your mouth feels so clean. I think it's the antimicrobial properties in coconut. So like plants aren't all bad. Just because I'm not eating them doesn't mean I don't appreciate them. They're pretty. I made a fruit salad the other day for other people to eat. I think they're beautiful. They just don't agree with me right now. How can you make kefir? I might have. Let me see if I have a thing on how to make kefir. My batteries are almost dead, so I've got a few minutes left. Here's kefir. Tallow for skin. A lot of people like that. If on the resource page, I have a link to grass-fed. She has like tallow-based skincare, and that's really good for you. Spit it in the trash. Yeah, that would definitely be better than spitting it down the sink. That's probably a good idea. The using like plain tallow on my skin, I tried that once, and like the cat and the dog were licking me nonstop, and it drove me nuts. So no, I'm not doing that. Vintage, I like Vintage Traditions. I've used theirs too. Theirs are hard, and the grass-fed Beauty, hers are like whipped, so they're like a lotion consistency. Sauerkraut, you can add it. It's not carnivore. So if that's what what did you want to know? How to make sauerkraut? I have that. I can get a link for that. It's really pretty. I'm really like I said, vegetables are beautiful. Like the cabbage over on the sauerkraut makes me happy, but I just don't like to eat it right now. If you guys have other links, you're welcome to share as long as they're not inappropriate. Worth the effort to make sauerkraut? I still give it to my kids. It's not much effort. If you can make a salad, you can make sauerkraut. I think it's definitely worth experimenting with. It's like a traditional food. And I think cabbage is one of those things that's low in most of the anti-nutrients. What is the carnivore? You're going to have to go on my channel and watch all my carnivore stuff. I can't recap the whole diet right now. Oh, that's okay. There's a good amount of tallow-based stuff. Like, I like to see all that coming back, like tallow-based soap and stuff. All right, looks like we are wrapping up. I might pop on next Sunday for a quick Q&A. I'm not sure whether or not. I know for sure I'm going to do this series again for October for people that want to do Carnivore Challenge in October. I'll mix it up a little bit, though. I'll have different themes so that if people that were in all of these want to come watch those, it's not going to be the exact same information. The first one on starting carnivore will probably be similar, but the other three will be a little different. Linda, that's above my pay grade. I really don't know. I wish I could help you more. I would say reducing inflammation, using grass-fed, using omega-3s like fish, wild caught fish would help. How to deal with vegans? They don't bother me. It's like they're passionate, and I can appreciate that they're passionate. There's Jeannie. If you have questions about TRS, hi Jeannie. So this is, she sells this, and Jeannie, you can leave your link if you want. I had it in the description of the video that I lost, but it's a detoxification thing, and it's something like it removes heavy metals. And a lot of people that struggle with yeast, the reason they struggle with yeast is because they have heavy metals. And so you can get rid of the yeast, but if you don't get rid of the heavy metals also, then it's something that is going to keep coming back. And so TRS removes heavy metals. In my daughter, I notice like less impulsive behavior and less like obsessive behavior. Like she'll get fixated on something. She doesn't have autism, but she has like some stuff presents like that. And so I just spray her once a day. That's why I have like a drippy nose right now, is I sprayed myself once yesterday. You just spray it. I'll show you, even though it tastes like water. You spray it under your tongue. It has some sort of weird molecule that Jeannie can explain better. And I did put a link to her store, and I'm hoping on her store she has a contact information, or if she wants to leave a book group that she has, or I'll try to edit for you. If you're interested in detoxification more than the carnivore diet's doing, I think TRS is like, it's making a difference in us. And after going through all of the different protocols that we've done, not a whole lot makes a difference for us. So it's really interesting to see that this is working. And it's working for me more on carnivore than it didn't do anything for me when I was on keto. And so I just thought it was interesting that now that my body has like all of this optimal nutrition and less inflammation, this detoxification thing is actually working. And so I'm curious to see what it does. I'll do a real video, like with my real camera on this, explaining it better. I need to brush up on how it works a lot more. And I thought it was woo-woo, and I thought it was weird, but I thought it was worth a try, and it ended up working really well. Don't your liver and kidneys detox the bodies by themselves? They do. Definitely, if you have heavy metals in your system from like having a bad gut, like leaky gut, your detoxification system has been compromised probably your whole life. Like I was formula fed. My mom fed us interesting food for the 80s. Like it was all non-fat. It was all like all the colors and the sugars and artificial everything was good because it was a kid and it was kid food. And so my diet growing up was not awesome. And so I'm guessing that I just didn't have the nutrition to be able to detoxify myself. And then my first child had special needs. And so that has kind of made me on the radar that maybe I was not optimally, I was 23 when she was born. And that's like biologically an optimal time to have a child. Maybe I was not optimally processing nutrients, and that she has those struggles. But yes, if your system is all in good working order, then your body can definitely detox by itself. Meat and keto weight is prepared, ready for the carnivore restart. That's good, Lindy. Let us know how it goes. All right, I'm going to take off. I am going to try to edit out the first messy start of this video. And exactly, and I'm pretty sure we have the MTHFR gene mutation. How's it? The cat? Oh, the cat's doing great. So his numbers are still, so kidney disease is a progressive disease. But the vet says, and the vet's known him for years, he's all, Bob looks better now than I've ever seen him. And I am like so excited about that because I don't know anything about feeding cats, but here we are just feeding the cat a raw diet, nose to tail, and the cat is thriving and he's putting on weight. And for a kidney disease, hyperthyroid cat, that's really important. He loves his food. It's not letting you link to anything. All right, Jeannie, after I end this, I'll just put it down in the description for you. If you want to, do you have my email? If you have my email, can you send it? Or actually, let me make you a moderator, and then I wonder if it'll let you link. There. Try that. All right, you guys have a good night too. Thank you for joining me. I have a video on how to make cat food, and it's for kidney disease cat because he's old and has kidney disease. All right. I will see you guys later. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.